Hello and welcome back to the Gifted Podcast Olympic Special Series. If you're new here, in this special series, we are going to be joined by Olympians of past and present who will be sharing their experience of competing at the Olympics as we learn what it takes to live your life without fear and inhibitions and make your zindagi unlimited. And in that very spirit, this special series is brought to you by Edelweiss Tokyo Life Insurance, which perfectly embodies this very notion of a zindagi unlimited. New episode, and that means a new Olympian as a guest. Today, I'm joined by track and field athlete who competes in the event of high jump, Sahana Kumari. Sahana ma'am represented India at the London Olympics and is also the current national record holder. We talk about the internal and external challenges that she had to overcome in order to qualify for the Olympics. We also talk about what kind of changes need to happen in the Indian sports ecosystem to produce more track and field athletes, and how her daughter has already started following into her footsteps. So let's jump right over to our conversation. Welcome, Sahana ma'am, to the Gifted Podcast Olympic Special Series. We're really excited to have you today. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm really doing good right now. So it's really nice weather today.
Right, and following the Olympics along. Great. So I'm always intrigued by how athletes find their sport. So let's start there. What about the high jump as an event really resonated?
I think we used to play at school. So who is jumping more? So whenever we started like our career, like we never thought like we are going for high jump. So we just choose our event as for fun type. Who is jumping more, and we are creating some techniques. Which technique will be good for clearance? So these all things we learn like when we are in childhood, like school. When I think exactly when I was in sixth standard.
Right. Like you're
Uh,
mentioning, it's usually the competitive drive within the children that is, really leading to experimentation on the field.
because we never learned like crossbury. We usually go for scissor, either straddle or double leg jumps. So these are technique we used when we are small.
Right. You qualified from there. You ended up qualifying for the London Olympics, which was also pretty late. Talk me through your qualification jump and what was the feeling like knowing you have qualified for the London Olympics?
Yeah, it is quite late. I know very well. Like after getting married and after one kid, so I started my training again. So I come back to 2007. Yeah, I think it's almost uh, more than 10 years later. Exactly, I can't remember. It's almost 12 years. I just put myself like I qualified for Olympic, and we can do high jump even after marriage and even after kid. It is possible for women. So we should not tell ourselves like I can't do. So we have to tell that I can do after marriage. So it's pretty some good experience for me. Like I was working with so many coaches, and later I shifted to like foreign coaches. So we trained very hard. We are 1 year. We are trained very hard. I think all together, like team. I was working with Sai, even though like my coach also, he's very dedicative. And the main thing, we have to dedicate ourselves for sports. So if you are not dedicating yourself for sports, then we can't dream anything.
Right. And what was it like when you knew that you had qualified for the London Olympics and you also broke a national record along the way?
That is the happiest day for me. Everyone is telling like I can't qualify. It is very hard for you. Maybe it's not possible. So many negative words I heard from outsiders, like even my from sports love. So I thought, okay, no problem. I didn't tell anything for them. Like I just kept quiet. I'm just doing myself, and I thought like I have to work for hard, and I want to show by my performance so that every can keep quiet. So when I jumped 190, 192, that the day, like it's quite late for me because almost my qualify ended with 9:35. So it's and everyone is like all the audience, everyone has gone back. Only the some officials and some sports lovers, they are just watching my event. So when I jumped off, I just shouted myself and running around everywhere, and I just hugged my coach, and I was very happy. because I done my achievement. So it's unforgettable for me.
Right. And, like you're mentioning, all along the way, there were always naysayers who would say, Acha, you can't achieve this, you would not be able to qualify. How do you try and tune out this kind of an outside noise and continue focusing on your performance?
See, everyone used to tell. So like if as a sportsman, if you listen outsiders more, then we can't perform anything. So this is all part of life, these are part of our sports. So we have to neglect all these things and just focus for one aim, then we can perform everything. If we want to do something, we want to achieve something, we want to dream, so we have to consider only one thing. That means you have to dedicate and you have to devote yourself for event. That's it.
Right. And what sort of other challenges did you have to overcome to end up qualifying for London?
I think that's really pressure for me, because although we got only four competitions or the two nationals, and these nationals we have to perform our best. So every nationals I used to miss only 2 centimeters. So I used to jump only 189, 89, 89. So I was really so much worried. Like I know I can do, but why it's not happening? Why it's not happening? So I was thinking so much why it's not happening. Then later, when we went to Thailand and Bangkok, everywhere I'm performing 189. So everyone used to tell, okay, Sana, you got only 2 centimeters, you can do it. So why can't you focus more? So I really did myself like I just want to meditate and I just want to concentrate this 2 centimeter. So then I started meditation. So I used to focus. I got up around 3 o'clock till 1 hour. I used to meditate. I used to focus my event. I just want to like recollect my things, how I can jump, how I can clear, what is my approach. So these are all things I start, autogenic training. It is in for psychology, but that time I never used to go any psychology, but I did myself these all things. So at last I got only one last competition, that is at Hyderabad, 2012. So in that jump, I just failed to clear 189, like two attempts are failed. Then the last attempt was there. I thought, okay, this is I should not leave. Then I just focused myself. I just made sure that I want to clear this. I cleared off 189. That then the next height is 192. So then I thought, like, see, I can't miss this chance. This is only one competition. So somehow I just want to clear this. So I really focus myself. And so this is what I learned about like in sports. Like if you meditate, if you focus, you can do anything. It's nothing is impossible if you're when you're focused. So so many things we learn from sports.
Right. And that national record is still standing. And it's interesting that you touch upon meditation, especially in a sport that is all based on repetition. So we often hear a lot of athletes then relying on techniques like meditation and visualization to continue training even when they're not on the track. Would you say that was also the case for you?
Yeah, it's true. It's 100% true. Actually, before sports, and they never used to go for meditation and recollecting all those things. But when we are injured, even though we'll practice our training session in mind. So because so that like when we are getting down to like track, so our muscles are ready. We are muscles are auto like it's muscles are not like okay, I am very lazy. I am not done this practice, so all of a sudden you can recollect everything and you can start your practice with confidence, not with with the confusion. So these all things really help us sports persons, especially meditation, psychology, and nowadays it must. I should tell every small like young athletes or like upcoming athletes, they have to go for meditation and they have to focus more. If we are really going to focus these things in younger age, we really for sure we are going to get gold medals in Olympics, because this part is lacking in our sports. So far we are not doing this type of, so the slowly it has started, but
Yep.
hope for the best.
Right. And you also faced some issues in trying to have your coach join you for London Olympics as well. What what happened at that time? Could you shed some more light on that? and how that may have interrupted your preparations for London.
Yeah, it's quite sad things, but like for my coach and like I just want to take my coach. It is there like our mentality, like okay, whom I trained, I want to take that coach,
Yeah.
and because we'll be more comfortable and we are very confident about that. Okay, my coach is there and he will guide me about my techniques, about my fault, and also every athlete is depend upon their coaches
Yeah.
because every time coach is only I. So I tried my best to take my coach to London. So like in that time, Eco Prayas, like the foundation, who has helped me a lot to like grab the money for him to take the like all the financial support and all. Even though I arrange everything financially, everything I arrange, but I don't know, maybe it is too late for me to take him because they told like why you want to take so many like I can't tell like how that situation is something different. So everyone told like why you want to take coach, why can't you go alone, you have to do alone because you are so much experienced athlete, you can't do alone. These things I heard, but even though I arranged, then later part then they told like no, you have to drop him, so that it should be not problem for like everyone. So I thought okay fine, but unfortunately, I took him to till Delhi. Then it's really sad that I dropped him and I just went alone. So I faced lots of problem in my competition period.
And going through such interruptions in your preparation for London, what sort of goals were you setting for yourself before you landed there?
Oh, like see, for the first thing I would like to tell, feel like we athletes are facing lots of competition. Like we are not
Yeah.
gone for any internet world competitions and all.
Yeah.
We used to go only for Asian country competition. So such type of competitions are lacking in our. So it's only when you are going to qualified and if you are going out of country for training, then only it is possible. So when I landed, I just thought like I have to do my best, just I have to repeat my what I did in like qualify. When I saw all the jumpers, they are really very like highly they are trained and they used to group in like they used to train in group. So once you are training in group and in the same like your opponents or your same colleagues, so we won't feel that fright. So when we are seeing them first time and we are competing, it's little bit nervous will be there for every competitors. There is no
Yeah.
doubt. Like even the world athletics, they'll feel little fright. So once we are adopting training with them, when we are seeing daily and when we are coming and doing competition, then that little bit fright also it will go away. So that part we lacked and that part I lacked so much. So yeah, otherwise every like Olympians they want to achieve their best in Olympics, but unfortunately sometimes it won't happen because of maybe weather, maybe some conditions. Will I just lacked all these things.
Right. And how would you say you rated your own performance in London, and what was the biggest learning from that kind of an experience?
Biggest thing actually, what I felt my so we have to focus in the morning itself, like morning practice. We Indians every time we used to do our jump session that evening or afternoon because the body won't react in the morning session. So, but my competition was in the early morning. So I went to ground around 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock was my competition. It is too cold for me. Like
Yeah.
when we are going for India, going from India and London is like quite cold for me. So at that time, my body didn't react and my body didn't open like for the competitions. So we are trying so hard to like my body should react on this, but unfortunately, I couldn't perform very really what I was doing in my practice session. I couldn't perform that all, and mainly and lots of confusion because some of jumpers they don't know English.
Hmm.
So unfortunately, in my jumps, one of other girls she went and she jumped off, and she didn't clear. Then they said, okay, so then it's half an hour took me to understand them. So this is the thing. So I didn't jump. One of other girls she jumped. So I have to jump, but she has jumped off. Then officials came and everything they came and they cleared the thing. Then I got jumped. So by the time I got little stress is what
Right.
happened because they
Right.
are the officials are very highly qualified. They don't want to listen all those things, but I
Right.
I made them to clear. Then they came to know. So I got little bit like stress on that time. So what I wanted to do on that time.
Right. And it's very interesting that you touch upon conditioning your body and mind to perform at the time for the rest of the year as well, when your actual competition in Olympics is also going down. Like you mentioned, then training your body to perform early in the morning rather than late in the evening.
Yeah.
And
So these things actually we have to do.
right. And ma'am, knowing all the barriers that you have had to overcome to become an Olympian, what does it mean to you to have a Zindagi Unlimited? And that's what we call a life without limitation.
What to tell actually is it's not ending like, but it is very short. If you want to perform something, you have to perform within the life. After life and within the age, after age overs, we can't do anything. And we can maintain your condition that, but practically it's not possible. So because though we are high jumpers and it's too technical, we have to maintain our body and we have to maintain our muscle mass and our diet. These things are so much we have to care about. So who does like who are doing sports? They know very well about this. So only conditioning and we are doing muscular is not happening because we have to work all together like we have to mentally and like metabolic and structure and CNS load, everything is there for us. So total thing we have to work. So then only we can perform for the higher level. Otherwise, everyone can raise why Olympics. It's why we are not getting Olympic medal.
Yeah.
So that these things we have to raise from like first standard, not in the degree.
Right. I also know that you're training your daughter to be a high jumper. Is there any difference
Hmm.
in the approach or the attitude with which this current generation approaches sport compared to the time that you were competing?
Yeah, those times like I don't have any competitors. After like their jumps, I used to start my jump. So I used to compete myself. I used to encourage myself. Okay, my target is something different. But nowadays, if I see my daughter, so she's also a jumper, and she got lots of competitors. Really good competitors are there. So she can't like take very like lightly that no jumpers are there. I can jump. I'm the first. Like she can't think about it because jumping is that event. Like in any jumps can change everything.
Yeah.
So and then generation wise, if you see now young generation, they are very smart and very challenging. And though they are very intelligent, everyone should work hard in this situation. And mentally, they have to prepare.
Right. And coming to Tokyo, we know that there are no long jumpers representing India. What have you made of Indian track and field athletes contingent performance at Tokyo so far?
Like long jumpers are there. Like high jumpers are not there. Like
Right.
this time, men's high jump, long jumper event, Sri Shankar.
Yeah.
Like then, other than long jump, high jump is not there, and triple jump
Yeah.
is not there. So pole vault is not there. So this time qualifies also what the men's qualify they kept 238. He like one guy and you can't tell exactly because no jumpers are there. So big generation gap. Like after
Yeah.
me, like no one is performing still. But I want like high jumpers, like all the women should come up and boys should come up and they have to work hard. It is not that easy, but it can possible. It is possible.
Right. And we touched upon this, that there are not enough amount of competitors or athletes competing in that specific sport, which results in not many representations at the Olympics for India. What needs to change in this Indian sports ecosystem to produce more high jumpers, long jumpers, and track and field athletes in?
So if usually if you see now schools actually have initiate these things because when we are at school we used to do lots of like running, jumping, throwing. We used to get all the opportunity, but nowadays children are not getting these opportunities. So every school have to initiate this, and every school have to their own ground so that they can compete in the competitions.
Yeah.
Because see, jumps is like every small kid you like to jump. When he start walking, he is used to jump. So when he know to walk, then usually he. So these things are first itself every kid know, but who is going to encourage them? We as a parents we can encourage, because I am a sports person. I can encourage my daughter. But what about other parents? They have to encourage their children. They have to initiate them. You have to go for sports. Nowadays this pandemic, everyone comes to know, because of immunity everyone is lost their colleagues and their
Yeah.
family members. So why it's happened? Because if you see the society, every child of one corner, like they are committing suicide, because they are mentally, they are not strong. If you compare sports person, they are mentally very strong and they are very good leaders. And even if though they are not good for firm, but they can lead their life.
Yeah.
And if the supporters like you, if we want like Olympics medal, the first preparation, just we want like at least one college. So many big colleges, at least one college will adopt one children, like you are potential for high, like you are potential for jumping. And if we are going to for funding you, and we are going to send you out for competitions and like training. If one single college has taken this decision, this is these things happen, then for sure we are going to get gold medals in Olympics. But everyone asks their last, why Olympics we are not getting medal? So this is very sad thing.
Right. It's been really interesting to, understand your journey and also hear the insights that it takes to reach the Olympics level. So thank you so much for taking out the time today and sharing your story with us, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Well, Sahana ma'am has overcome really tough challenges in her life in order to earn the title of an Olympian. And after talking to her today, I can see why. Her grit to tune out the naysayers and continue focusing on her performance and improving as an athlete really stood out in this conversation. It was also intriguing to hear her thoughts on what needs to change and improve in the Indian sports ecosystem to produce the next set of Sahana Kumaris who will compete with the best of the best in the world. And I'm certain that will turn true sooner than later. And now, some quick updates from Tokyo. Sindhu defeated China's He Xiao in the bronze medal match in straight sets 21-13, 21-15 to register a historic win. With a podium finish in Tokyo, Sindhu has become the only second Indian athlete to win back-to-back medals at the Olympics and the only woman to do so. Men's hockey team dominated the quarterfinal clash against Great Britain as they ran out 3-1 winners. This put them one step closer to glory as they booked a semi-final slot against Belgium. In the semis, India had a strong showing against Belgium in the first half, but they ran out of steam in the second half as Belgium ran out 5-2 winners eventually. But they still have a hope of a medal as they'll be playing against the losers of Australia versus Germany in the bronze medal match. Women's hockey team continue their Dream Olympics campaign on the back of a surprise qualification from the group stages. But in the knockout stages, they had a surprise not just for the hockey world, but the entire world as they beat Australia 1-0, the strong favorites for a gold medal. The scenes that followed that win were of pure jubilation, and that sees them book a semi-final date against Argentina. After becoming one of the only two discus throwers of total 31 athletes to qualify directly for the finals, everybody expected a medal finish for Kamalpreet. While she never came close to troubling the mark of the medal winners, Kamalpreet became India's joint best finish in field events ever by finishing 6th. That's pretty great for an Olympic debut and is surely a sign of things to come in the future. Well, that wraps up another episode of the Gifted Podcast Olympic Special Series. We still have Lovlina, the hockey teams, and wrestlers in contention for medal finishes. So let's keep the Indian flag flying high and continue cheering for Team India. Until next time, I'm your host, Neeraj Mulani, signing off.